Hello, my name is Matthias Cavodi, the Woke Guys to my channel. Today, we're going to talk about Uncanny X-Men issues 248 to 251. It's a very interesting phase for the not-so-merry mutants of Marvel. So this time, it's like the team starts falling apart. Like, we're going to get one member of the team picked off at a time. This is really weird because this particular compilation that comes from Spain, you have 4 issues. And every once in a while, it's like it was part of a 25-part series. You would have 4 issues, again, as I mentioned previously, but for some reason in this one, they cut the first issue in half. So here we have the X-Men battling against Nanny and Orphan Maker. They're causing havoc for the X-Men. Also, during this time, the X-Men are in Australia. And what happens in this battle is that Havoc, in a last-ditch effort in trying to defeat Nanny and Orphan Maker, he blasts at their ship, and by accident, he also hits Storm. Storm dies. I have no idea how she came back as a child because I thought she had entered the siege portal that gives you a rebirth. And it's not the case. She died. I'm not sure how they explain this, but what happens is, get into the next issue. This was the whole lineup: Wolverine, Longshot, Colossus, Psylocke, Storm, Havoc, Rogue, and Dazzler. Longshot's gone. Storm's dead. I'm not sure. I don't remember how they brought her back because actually she comes back with the first appearance of Gambit. Rogue's also off the team. She got sucked into the siege portal too. So in the story that takes place immediately after, we have Havoc. That the main focus around this character is that he can't live up to being the great leader as his brother Scott, and that the team is falling apart. Like, you have a member that died. Sort of his fault. Wolverine has also gone missing in action. Longshot, for some reason, just disappears physically, just starts fading away. It's just really weird. But what happens, he gets a call from Polaris. She was able to get rid of the possession of Malice because for a long time she was on the Marauders. She was possessed by Malice, but now she's not possessed. She's in Punta Arenas, that's actually in Chile, but the comic references it to be in Argentina. That's like a big issue. Like, Chileans and Argentinians get really sensitive about stuff like that. So the X-Men are going to try to go down to Punta Arenas, Argentina. Again, it's part of Chile, to find Polaris, find out what the hell is the situation. On the other hand, we have Donald Pierce and the Reavers. They're going to start their campaign on trying to not only destroy the X-Men, but a special vengeance trip on Wolverine. So once the X-Men arrive to Punta Arenas, they start fighting against the Savage Land mutants. Zatalan, whom we saw previously being like the right-hand lady to the High Evolutionary. For some reason, she wants to hunt down and capture Polaris. She wants to seal her powers. She's commanding all the new the Savage Land mutants. Zatalan and her forces, even though the X-Men were able to defeat the Savage Land mutants, she was able to escape, kidnapping Polaris. This is going to lead the X-Men having to go to Savage Land. This story in general, it's actually pretty good. And things get pretty rough for the X-Men in general in this story because there's this mind-controlling mutant from Savage Land called Worm. And he actually uses his mind. He has this protoplasmic slime that he puts on people and pits the X-Men against each other. And things get really rough at one moment in this story. So while this is going down, and Psylocke's almost killed by Colossus at one moment. Psylocke has a premonition that if they go back to Australia, they're all going to get killed. When they left to this mission in Savage Land, the Reavers had already arrived to their base in Australia. That originally the base that they were in, they actually kicked out the original Reavers from that base. That was actually their original headquarters. So what we discovered is that actually Wolverine has been captured by the Reavers. He's been crucified on the base. They've been torturing him this whole time. Later on, we get to see how he gets captured in the first place. We discover that some of the new members of the Reavers are actually ex-foot soldiers to the Hellfire Club that Wolverine ripped up pretty bad. And so they're really interested in making things miserable for Logan. One really cool thing about this time is Wolverine's healing factor is not as powerful as it is nowadays. Like, he's a lot weaker. And when the X-Men return to Savage Land, like, Psylocke realizes the situation. And what she does is, like, she convinces the teammates, like, the X-Men are not aware of this whole situation with Wolverine and the Reavers. She's like, look, let's go all into the siege portal and start our lives again. Like, as X-Men, we've been miserable. Let's start over and just leave this hellish place. And the whole team decides to go, even though Psylocke knows full well they're ditching their teammate and that Wolverine's being tortured. So it's actually really cool, and it talks volumes about Psylocke as a character in general. But like, Psylocke's premonitions, like, if they stayed, they would have died. And in this story, what we discover later on, like, and she doesn't do this gleefully, like, she's really broken about this situation, but the X-Men decide to go into the portal, start their lives again, and Wolverine is going to be rescued by Jubilee, who is actually living on the base. She was like a little pack rat, like, staying hidden from the rest of the team. She had followed the X-Men through a portal, and she was stealing their stuff and feeding and clothes and stuff like that. So she's actually the one that saves Wolverine, and we're going to get a really interesting and fantastic relationship between Wolverine and Jubilee for a while. Like, Jubilee's going to be like Wolverine's Robin for a time. So this particular era of X-Men, it's really good. It's fantastic. Go back and read 1980s X-Men, all of Chris Claremont's run, because obviously this was written by Chris Claremont. Pure gold. Hope you like this video. See you guys next time. Bye.